tiny bit different. We are going to follow a standing sequence, and all of the postures that we will be practicing today are postures that we practiced before, so nothing new. The only difference is instead of doing our grounding from a seated position on the floor, we're going to just jump in rather quickly today, and there'll be a little bit more of a flow to it, like the class is advertised. So it's still Kripalu yoga. It still will be the same amount of time, about 50 minutes. I think, is it 50? Yeah. And I will still show posture options for anything that needs to be modified, and I'll still use props. I have a chair here today because sometimes we have a few seniors who find it difficult to get up and down off the floor, or downward dogs just aren't working for them. So you don't need a chair. You don't need blocks. I practice with blocks, so if you have some blocks handy, that's great. You can also use 2 books. And as always, if anything that I offer doesn't feel good, don't do it. You can either watch or do something different. Okay, so let's get started. We'll come to a standing position. Coming into Tadasana, mountain pose. And the feet are about hip distance apart. And we imagine we're squeezing a block between our legs. That will help activate the legs to help build a stable foundation. And then we'll tilt the pelvis so that it is like a bowl. Imagine a bowl of soup, and we don't want it to spill out. So the bowl, we don't want it to tip too far back or too far forward. And then draw the shoulders forward, down, and back. Spread the fingers wide. Feel your arms active. And just take a moment in this posture, the foundation of all standing postures, to feel yourself connected with the earth. You can try closing your eyes if that would feel safe for you. I find standing postures difficult with the eyes closed. I like to keep a soft gaze slightly up toward where the wall meets the ceiling. Notice the temperature in the room. Notice any sounds that you might hear around you. Notice any sounds that you might hear or feel inside of you. Maybe you can feel your heart softly beating, or hear your tummy growling. Let the belly get soft so that it can expand as you draw the breath inward. And then exhale, sigh it out. Deep inhale. And exhale, sigh it out. One more time. Deep inhale. Expand the lungs. Feel the chest rise. And exhale, sigh it out. Take a moment to notice your energy level. Notice any thoughts that are present. And the mind is programmed to be busy and alert. So know that as your mind begins to wander, either forward with the to-dos and the futures and the worries, backwards with regrets, know that you can continue to bring your awareness back to the breath to keep you aligned, body, mind, and spirit. Take a moment to notice any feelings that are present. And notice that you are able to notice that part of the nervous system or the mind, the intelligence And know that the feelings are always fleeting and that feelings are not facts. They come and go just as clouds do. And then drawing the hands to heart center in Anjali Mudra, with a slight bow to yourself, take a moment to tap into that part of self, that authentic, true, unique self, that divine spark that is in each and every one of us. Something that is within us, but yet bigger than ourselves. That connects us to each other and to all humanity, and indeed to all of creation. The definition of yoga is yuking, or linking all of these parts of self together. And then set an intention for your practice today, something that brought you here to your mat. Ask your heart, what is it that you're looking for today? And whatever it is that you wish for, know that I wish it for you too. It's one of my favorite yoga teachers always says. And with that, we'll begin our physical asana. Okay, let's start into Tadasana again, just like we were. The only difference is we'll bring our hands into prayer pose. Inhale the arms up, and then big circles, wide and down, moving with breath. Inhale through heart center. Big circles, exhale down. Inhale. And exhale. Place your right hand on your hip and lift the left arm. So this time you can allow your hips to move to the side as you stretch into the side body. Normally I have us practice a moon salutation where the feet are a little bit farther and we root our feet into the earth and we don't let the hip come out. That's how we normally practice this. But today our feet are all the way together now. We'll just bring a gentle stretch into the side body. If you're working with any shoulder injuries or sensitivities and this doesn't feel good, you can practice your side stretch by bringing your arms together. Sometimes we call it monkey arms, and flow from side to side. But if this feels okay for the shoulder, stay here for another deep inhale and exhale. And then switch sides. Place your hand on your other hip, almost as if you're giving yourself a little traction. So you're pushing into the hip. Stay here for 3 and 2 and 1. So we always begin in Kripalu Yoga with the 6 movements of the spine. So we just did lateral flexion. Now we're going to add a twist. So the feet can be a little bit more than hip distance apart. It might even be 1 leg's length. And we'll begin to flap the arms as if they were the sleeves of a coat. And you'll notice as you swing the arms, the outside leg will lift up. And you can make your arm swings, your sleeve flaps as fast or slow as you would like. And we'll begin to slow that down. Beautiful. Bring your arms together and then begin to make movements with the wrists. Starting to wake up the wrists. And then coming back to Tadasana, allow the chin to drop down and then lift the gaze. moving slowly with breath. And then inhale over the right shoulder. Exhale through center. Inhale, opposite side. And then right hand comes up, fingertips are by the temple. Allow the ear to come down by the shoulder. Send the breath into the neck body. And with each exhale, release any tension that might be hanging out here. And then cradle the cheek in the hand and come on up. Switch sides. And then come on back up. Beautiful. I'm going to turn to the side. I'll turn this side. Oh, actually, let me try to go this way. It gives me a little bit more room. Trying a new setup today. Okay, bring your hands to heart center. Feet are a little bit wider, about hips distance, 2 fists. Bring the hands to heart center and then inhale the arms up. Wide circles down. And then slide down into forward fold. If you have blocks, you can use those blocks and stack them as high as you would like. And bend the knees deeply so that you can release any tension in the upper body and let the head hang. You can even rest your abdomen on your thighs. Slide your hands up your shins, halfway up. And then exhale, fold forward again. And then reverse swan dive, bend your knees and sweep the arms up. And then hands come back down through heart center, bend the knees, fold forward. Slide the hands, come halfway up, lengthen out through the crown of the head, flat back. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, sweep the arms wide. And then exhale, hands through heart center. One more time. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hands come down, passing the heart. Forward fold. Flat back, come halfway up. This time, slide the hands back down as you make your way into tabletop position. Stack the shoulders over the wrists and spread your fingers wide. Now, last week we talked about yoga for a healthy back and yoga for people with back pain. And one of the things we talked about was how this position here, some people call this cow, sometimes does not feel good for people with back issues. So if that's true for you, then please don't do it. We can always just do the opposite movement, which is rounding of the spine into cat. But if it feels good for you, then drop the belly, lift the chest, lift the gaze. Notice how the stretch feels different when you curl your toes. Notice how you can feel the stretch more intensely. And then uncurl the toes and round the spine. Last time, drop the belly. Okay, if it would feel good to you, you can turn your hands inward so that they face your knees. If that doesn't feel good, keep the fingertips forward. And again, round the spine. Drop the belly. Inhale as the belly drops. And exhale, round the spine. Okay, bring the hands back forward. Give it a little shake. And then if it would feel good to you, curl your toes and sit back. Now, if that doesn't feel good for your toes, you can always sit back on a block. So place the block or a book between your calves and sit back. So this is like a supported version of hero pose. And if there's any discomfort with one block, you can use 2 blocks. So you should feel a nice stretch in your quadriceps. And let's just do one more stretch for the hand. Turn your thumb down and face your palm away. And then bring the hand back up, face your palm to you. And as you put your thumb behind your hand, press gently back the pinky, the ring finger, middle finger, and index finger. Other hand, turn the thumb down, and then face the palm toward you. And with the thumb on the back of the hand, press the pinky down, index finger, just going as far as feels comfortable for you. Okay, let's come on back into tabletop pose. And then from there, we're going to go into puppy pose. So puppy pose is kind of like the first evolution of downward facing dog. If you're working with cranky knees, you could put some extra padding here. Walk the feet back. Now again, if puppy pose doesn't feel good for you, you don't have to do it. You can do something different. You can watch, or maybe you come into child's pose, which won't lengthen the spine, but it is still a nice place to find rest. With puppy pose, we walk the hands forward and then turn the index fingers out slightly. Draw your abdominal muscles in, and you'll notice your hips are stacked right over your knees, and the forehead comes down to the earth or a block. So if it doesn't reach the earth, bring the earth to you. Stay in puppy pose for one more full inhalation, feeling your shoulders expand, feeling your side body lengthen, and feeling the length that you're creating in the spine. Beautiful. Come on back up into tabletop position. Spread the fingers wide, engage your core, and then extend the left leg out behind you. Drop the toes down and keep them curled. And then engage all your abdominals as you press out through the ball of the foot. Keep pressing firmly into the fleshy parts of the hands so that you're not collapsing into the shoulders, and keep your core engaged. So you'll notice this is like a half of a plank. Keep breathing, feel the muscles lengthen. Beautiful. And then we'll switch sides. Lengthen out through the other side. press from tabletop position, and then lower the toes. Feel your entire core shrink wrap. And then press out through the heel. Here we are in half plank. Well, deep breath, feel the calf lengthening. Well, it's more than one muscle back there, but feel the entire calf muscles lengthening. Keep breathing for 3 and 2 and 1. Okay. Come into tabletop position and then walk the legs back. We'll take modified plank. Beautiful. Stay here for 3 and 2 and 1. And then lower the body down, pull the elbows in, belly drops, chest drops, and then press up, baby cobra. Now notice the belly is not pressing into the earth. The pubic bone is, and the legs are active. And then slowly lower down, press into the earth, and we'll sink back into child's pose. I like to bring my feet together and my knees to the outer edge of the mat. That allows for the belly to sink down, gives a little bit more room for the air to flow through. You can also place a cushion or a pillow or something behind you. The arms are not reaching out far in front of you like they were in puppy pose. The arms are not active at all. They're completely relaxed, either slightly in front of you or by your sides or on your lower back. And even if your tailbone doesn't reach the earth, imagine energetically sending it down to the earth. Drawing the breath in to the belly and sending the breath down toward the tailbone. Beautiful. And then we'll make our way back into puppy pose. Walk the knees back, walk the hands forward, turn the fingertips out slightly. Keep the hips stacked over the knees. Again, if the head doesn't reach the earth, you could bring the earth to you with a block. Now you can stay in puppy pose, or you can come into the next evolution, which is downward facing dog. And you can do that by coming into tabletop, curling your toes and sending your tailbone up and back. Keep a deep bend of the knees and pivot your hips, swivel, and see if you can get your head to come between your elbows. Now, if you're wondering how far apart your head and hands should be, you can start off in plank and then send the tailbone up and back, and you'll know that that's the right distance for you. Keep a deep bend of the knees. You can always place something underneath to support the feet. Again, make any movements that would feel natural. I put too much spray on my mat. My hands are sliding all over. Beautiful. Now, extend the right leg and step it through, coming into high lunge. It's always an option to use blocks from high lunge. Beautiful. Press out through the heel, drop your shoulders and lift your gaze. Now drop the back knee, and if it would feel good, you can bring your arms up overhead, either coming straight up, or you can open up this way by swinging out to the sides. Sink down and drop the shoulders down and draw the shoulder blades together. And then bring the hands to the blocks or the earth and slowly straighten the front leg. If it would feel good, you can press your toes up and press the heel into the earth. And then come back into high lunge and step that front leg back, coming into downward facing dog. If that doesn't feel good, go back to puppy pose. I'm going to grab an extra mat. I need some, oh, here's my blanket. Need some extra padding for that knee. And from downward facing dog, extend your left leg and then step it through. If it doesn't come all the way through, you can grab a hold of it and then bring it forward. You can use your blocks or you can come up onto the tips of your fingers. Drop your shoulders and lift your gaze. And then drop the back knee, coming into low lunge. And if you want a little bit more sensation, lift the arms. Try to engage the core. And notice as you sink down deeper, you're going to feel even more lengthening of the quads. Beautiful. Now, you can either step back and come back into downward facing dog, or keep it low and come into puppy pose. You decide the intensity that you're looking for. And we'll hold for 3 and 2 and 1. Come on back into modified plank if you're in down dog. And then from here, drop the belly, pull the elbows in, drop the chest, and then engage the core and come on up into cobra. Come on down and press back into child's pose. And we'll stay in child's pose for 3 full inhales, 3 deep exhales. And then as you're ready, make your way back into tabletop. Curl the back toes. We're going to come back up into downward facing dog. Again, you can widen the feet if that feels better for you. You can bend the knees as deeply as you need to. The goal is to get that tailbone up and back and the head to come between the elbows. Beautiful. Now extend your right leg and then curl it through. Coming into high lunge. And from high lunge, draw your body up, keep that core engaged, and turn the back toes out, turn the heel in. Find your warrior 2. Shoulders are parallel. Tuck that tailbone, get as tall and long as you can. Turn the palms up. Keep that knee stacked over the ankle, not the toes. Turn the palms up and down and up and down. Allow the back hand to come down. And if it would feel good, take your gaze up toward your thumb. We'll come into a side angle. The elbow comes down to the knee. And be careful not to collapse into the shoulder. You can keep your hand right here on your hip as you draw the rib cage back and imagine the heart shining up. You can stay right here because it's enough, or you can allow the arm to come up and overhead. So here or here. Beautiful. Now let's windmill the hands down to our blocks and step the front leg back, coming into downward facing dog, or go down into your puppy pose. Drop the knees down, come into modified plank, pull your elbows in, and lower down. Now, you do not have to keep doing this. We call this your vinyasa. You're flowing through it. You can just always rest in puppy pose. Uncurl the toes, pull in the elbows, and draw yourself up into cobra. Now, if cobra isn't feeling good, you can come up into Sphinx pose. With Sphinx, be careful not to drop the belly. Stack the shoulders over the elbows and press the pubic bone into the earth. So the goal is to feel sensation evenly in all three parts of the back when you're doing your back bends, and not to feel compression in the lower back. And then slowly lower down and make your way back into puppy pose or downward facing dog. I'm going to take puppy pose. Feel free to take downward facing dog, and you can stay there for 3 full breaths. And then make your way into down dog. If you're a puppy pose, you're going to want to find a way to get your left leg front. And then step it through. From puppy pose, you can come into table, and then low lunge, and then high lunge. Come on up. You can always keep your hands right here on your leg because it's enough. Knee is stacked over the ankle. You can always keep your hands at heart center, or you can bring the arms up if you would like. Going to switch sides. So some people, as they come up, like to swing their arms up and bring them up, and then turn into side warrior. Knee is stacked over the ankle. Beautiful. Sink down, turn the palms up and down and up. Your gaze is over your middle finger in the front. And then back arm comes down, front arm comes up. And then you can stay here because it's enough, or you can come into your lateral flexion. The elbow comes down to the knee. You can use your hands to swivel the rib cage up and shine the heart up. Now, if it's difficult to maintain your balance, you can always widen the distance between your feet. Like I said, I used too much yoga mat cleaner last night, and my mat is like a slip and slide today. Always an option to bring this arm up and over and reach out long through the side body. And then come on back up. Beautiful. We're going to repeat that same flow. This time we swivel the hands around, drop the back knee, and come into puppy pose, or stay right here and step back into downward facing dog. Again, you can swivel the hips, make any movements that would help the body release, or you can hold in stillness. Drop the knees, coming into modified plank, and lower down belly and chest. Keep those elbows pulled in. Again, if Cobra doesn't feel good for you, you can take Sphinx Pose. And breathe for 3 and 2 and 1. Slide the hands back and make your way into either puppy pose or downward facing dog. We're going to need to be facing the other side because we're going to repeat that same flow for our next standing posture. If you're in puppy pose, you're going to want to make your way into tabletop and then make your way into a high lunge by stepping the right leg forward. If you're in downward facing dog, extend the right leg, step the leg through. You can give it a helping hand. And then you can use your core to pull the body up. Turn the back toes out and the heel in. I like to bring my legs about one leg's length apart, and the front heel is bisecting the arch of the back foot. Once you find your stable foundation, tailbone tucks, the upper body glides as if it's gliding across the table. And then the hand comes down toward the shin. Now, some people like to bring their hand all the way down to a block. If you're one of those people, you can do that. I like to just keep it here because if I take support from below, I tend to rely on that and not work my core as much. And I like to use this upper hand to help rotate the rib cage here. You can reach up and stack the arms, continuing to roll the rib cage and lift the heart. Your gaze can be down at the ground, straight ahead, or up at your thumb. And then reach up as if you're grabbing a star. Beautiful. Turn, coming into high lunge, bend both knees, and step back either into downward facing dog or into puppy pose. Try to stay for 3 full deep inhales and exhales. And then extend your left leg, step it through. I have to turn around to the other side now. And make your way into warrior. Again, you can extend your arms if you would like. And then make your way into side warrior. Straighten the front leg, coming into triangle pose. Find your stable foundation and bring your legs closer together if you need to. Front heel bisects the arch. And then imagine gliding across the tabletop. Hand comes down to the shin. The front leg is straight, but without locking the knee. You can use this hand to rotate the rib cage up, and you can keep it there. Or if you'd like to reach the arm up, stack your shoulders and take your gaze down to your foot, straight ahead, or up at your thumb. Breathe deeply, feel that deep side stretch. And then reach up as if you're grabbing a star. Okay, toes are forward, heels are back. Let's come into a very gentle forward fold. Knees can be slightly bent. Wide angle forward folds are excellent neutral postures after triangle pose. And you can stack your blocks as high as you would like so that you can completely release your upper body, your shoulders. You can bend your knees, keep toes forward, heels back. Always feel free to make any movements that would feel good for your body. If you want to rock from side to side, listen to the body's intuition. Press one hand into the earth or into a block and sweep the opposite arm up. Inhale through center and switch sides. One more time. Inhale through center. And then bend the knees, engage the core, and slowly come on up. Take a moment to adjust to the upright position. And then turn and face the front of the mat. Sweep the arms up through heart center, and then make your way into downward facing dog or puppy pose. Drop the knees, coming into high lunge, or rather modified plank. And then draw the elbows in and lower down, belly, chest, and then either cobra or sphinx. And then slowly lower down, make a little cushion and pillow with your hands, rest one cheek, and windshield wiper the legs to release any tension that might be in the lower back. And then switch sides. Turn that gaze to the other side. Now, we're going to roll over and come into a bridge pose. If bridge is not your thing, you can continue to do other back bends. You can either do Sphinx, Cobra, and you can flow in and out of those, or you can hold them with stillness. You can also come back into tabletop position, and you can practice cat-cows. Otherwise, come onto your back. Your feet walk toward your bottom. The feet are about hip distance apart, but if you need to widen them, you can. Draw your shoulders down and back, and then engage your abdominals as you press your pubic bone up toward the ceiling. Tuck your chin down. I don't think you can see me on my camera. That's okay, because I know you all know how to do bridge pose. We've done it together before. And then take hold of the edge of your mat with your hands and use that to help draw your shoulders under even more. Keep squeezing the legs together. And then slowly lower one vertebra at a time. I'm going to see if I can tilt my camera down. We're going to take figure 4, which, as we discussed before, is like a pigeon pose. Okay, so you'll be on your backs, and if it's available to you, you can reach through and take hold of the leg, and you can just stay right there. In fact, you could even just stay right here with the knee bent and the leg supported on the earth. So if your hips are super tight, stay right there. Otherwise, take hold and breathe deeply. one more deep inhale and exhale. If you'd like to try a half a happy baby, bring the foot down to the earth and take hold of the foot, bend the knee and draw it down toward your underarm. Your lower back is pressed into the earth. And then we'll switch sides, figure 4 on the other. Again, you can stay right here because it's enough, or reach through, take hold of the leg. Deep inhale. Send your breath to the parts of the body where you're feeling sensation. Chin is slightly pointed down. And then slowly lower the foot down. You can stay in figure 4. You can try half a happy baby. Take hold of the foot and draw the knee down toward your underarm. Make any movements, little micro movements that are slow and controlled with the breath. If you'd like to take a full happy baby, you can. Remember though that tailbone or lower back stays connected with the earth. Take hold of the feet. You can always use a strap if your arms aren't long enough to reach. Chin is slightly pointed down and knees draw down toward the underarms. If that's too much sensation, you can go back to half a happy baby or figure 4. Or do something completely different that feels good for your body. You could always just give the knees a hug and rock from side to side for a little lower back massage. Now we're going to take that twist that we practiced last week. You can either keep your knees in and let them come out to the side. I like to use the supports of blocks over my knees and my ankles. If you're looking for a little bit more abdominal work, then you can keep your legs at a 90-degree angle and allow the legs to slowly moving with control down to the earth. I'm going to draw my knees in and let my legs come down, supported the knees and the ankles by the blocks. This is a great reset for the spine. Now my legs are off to the left. That means I don't want my right shoulder just to be hanging out there in outer space. So if your shoulder is just dangling, make sure you prop some blankets underneath it to give it some support. Your gaze can be straight up to the ceiling or to the opposite side of where your knees are resting. And as you're ready, draw the legs slowly back through center, and we'll switch sides. Again, you can have a more active movement with the legs at a 90-degree angle and flow from side to side, or draw your knees in toward your chest and use your blocks to support your knees and your ankle. So see, you notice how my shoulder is kind of dangling out there in outer space? So I'm going to give that shoulder some love and place a blanket underneath it. Your arm does not need to be extended. You can if you'd like, or you can just rest it on your hip and your belly. Sorry about that. I used my teacher timer today instead of the Tibetan bowl. It's not very relaxing. I apologize. And then allow the legs to come back through center. I would like to take a supported half shoulder stand. If you have a block handy, you can use a block. If you don't, and you have a wall handy, you can bring your legs up the wall. This is an incredibly restorative posture and a great way to end a practice. If you do have a block or something that you can place underneath your lower back, press up into bridge pose and then place a block right underneath the sacrum. And your palms are facing down, shoulders relaxing into the earth. Draw one knee into the chest and then the other. And then extend one leg and then the other. Let's let all the blood flow out of the legs and give that heart a rest. This is also great for the immune system, since our lymphatic system doesn't have valves. It can't flow back and forth like our blood does. And so doing this allows the lymph fluid to move back up toward the abdomen. And if holding in stillness is not your thing, you can make any movements that would feel good for your body. Now, if you're in need of relaxation, you can stay right here where you are. If your legs are up the wall, you can stay there. Or you could come into a typical Shavasana position. And you can end your practice there. But if you're feeling like you've integrated all of the hard work that you've done today, then you can make your way one leg at a time down to the earth. Remove your prop and make your way onto your side and slowly, slowly coming up into a seated position, allowing the hips to be higher than the knees, either propping yourself up with a pillow or a block or a firm blanket. I have a lot of old beach towels that I usually use. And then finding a tall spine, bring the hands to heart center. And with a slight bow to yourself, honor yourself for your dedication to your wellness journey. We did a lot of difficult postures today. That would be considered an intermediate level class. And since we've gone virtual, we've basically done only gentle classes. We practiced a lot of postures that are full body conditioners. And thank you for the privilege of showing up, for getting up early, for taking the time for your own health, and for being together in community. These are really tough times, and even though we can't see each other, we can feel each other's energy, and we can know that we're all in this together, and we're going to get through this. Slight bow to the self, and then if you would like, hands come to the forehead, and we offer each other a namaste. The unique and divine light in me sees and honors the unique and divine light in each and every one of you. Thank you, everybody. I hope you have a wonderful day. Peace for your week. If you have any questions, you can put them in